Hello friends, and welcome back to the archives for another battle breakdown. Oh, if you saw my last episode, you should know how excited I am to see this one. I have been waiting until the very day it came out, and of course it came out early in the morning. So the day of filming this, I am filming it on the 31st. You'll be seeing it the next day on the November 1st, actually. But I could not wait to watch this. I've been holding off to record this. I want to see it. I want to react to it. I want to see what happens when you take two giant franchises of slasher films. I didn't write a script for this. I was just excited. I want to see what would happen if you took the essence of pure evil mixed in with a being that escaped from hell itself, and put them against each other to see who the ultimate killer is. Yeah, we've already had Freddy vs. Jason. That was a decent movie. I liked it. I mean, it's campy as all hell, but I loved it. I mean, come on. I'm a sucker for a funny horror film. I liked watching Child's Play for that reason. You know, and for Halloween has had a giant franchise. It's had 3 branching timelines to go along with that. You have the original timeline going from Halloween's 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Then you have the second timeline where you had the Halloween H2O Resurrection. Then you have the newest one where you go from Halloween to Halloween Kills to Halloween Ends. Then you have the Rob Zombie films, which is its whole other headcanon and its whole other storyline. And it's different. I wasn't a huge fan of the Rob Zombie films. I liked it, but wasn't a giant fan. I prefer the other 3 timelines to those films. But as for Jason, he has had one timeline, going from Friday the 13th All 1 all the way down to Jason X. And if you count Freddy vs. Jason as part of the same timeline, which I don't see how that can actually happen, considering that with Jason X he was in space, then went back down to Earth. Jason Goes to Hell actually went into the Freddy vs. Jason, timeline per se. Like, X never happened, so it got kind of confusing at the very end. But it got campier as you went along. I mean, my personal favorite and the most unpopular opinion I've ever seen was I like Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason going from Camp Crystal Lake all the way over to New York City. I mean, come on. It was the lowest rated movie they had, but I loved it. Just for the few humorous scenes in there. I love a horror movie that adds a little bit of comedy because it throws you off guard when something horrific happens. It gives you that false sense of, that false sense of security when something funny happens. And then suddenly some guy gets his head ripped off and shoved up his ass. I haven't seen that yet, but that'd be hilarious to see also and unexpected. But these 2 killers have had a bunch of brutal kills, ranging from anywhere from just a simple stabbing to a throat slit to sleeping bags, using it. Being killed in a sleeping bag by being beat up against a tree then thrown in a fire. Then you have Michael Myers, who loves to pin his opponents or pin his victims up against wall like fine art. That takes some skill, and that's physically impossible, actually. Taking an ordinary kitchen knife, stabbing it through someone into a wall and pinning them up, the weight of the person would make them fall off or slide down a little further and it would unpin them. Anyways, that just shows how bizarrely strong these 2 are. Both are unkillable. Like I said, you have Michael Myers, who is the essence of pure evil, who has survived some of those gruesome styles of death. Being burned alive and just thrown into a coma and then wakes back up again. Jason has been brought back to life by a lightning bolt like Frankenstein. It gets kind of bizarre on how they keep bringing these killers back for another movie. Not counting the reboots or not counting the alternate timelines, but just how insane these 2 supernatural killers are. They can both take immense amounts of damage. One showing more than other. I mean, Jason has, you can see the battle wear on him. Yeah, you can see how he's gone from looking like he's almost human to a walking corpse. And as for Michael Myers, if you're going from the original timeline and going through, you know, all the way from 1 to 6, he heals. Like, he does not show any damage except for the horrific masks they used throughout some of the sequels. Every movie had a different mask. It was the same mask, just oddly different. I mean, Halloween 4, he had his hair combed back for some reason, and then messed up and then combed back again. I don't even know why. But both are ruthless killers, both with the same amount of goals. Jason hates camp counselors. Michael Myers in the original timeline was going after his family, mainly his sister, then his niece, and then try to pass on the curse that he had. If you're going through that one, there was the curse of Thorn that was his embodiment of power, how he would stay alive and never die. Jason was through pure willpower. I don't know exactly. I don't know what kept bringing him back other than stupidity from some people that just wanted to re-kill him, and then, like I said, bolt of lightning, and there he's at the Levian. So, I have already gone through the rundown. I've already seen their strengths, their weaknesses. Their weaknesses are far and few between. It's mostly that they're just unstoppable killing machines. Like, how do you kill something that literally... They would have to make a movie just to explain how to actually kill when every movie ends with, oh, they're dead. No, they're not. The franchise continues onward. So, and that's how they keep rebooting the characters or adding another sequel to it. And so I'm curious to see how they're actually going to kill off one of these two characters and see who the ultimate slasher villain is. So without further ado and me rambling on more, before I start the video, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I have a goal of hitting 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We are going to be hitting November pretty soon. That gives you one more month to subscribe to the channel and help me reach that goal. Share me with your friends, share me with your family, share me with somebody you don't know, and make new friends. That's all it's about. It's about the love and spreading me around the internet. And if you like this content, I will bring more to you. Let me know. So, let's just start the battle already, okay? I'm done rambling. Let's go.
Mother is talking to you.
It's creepy already, and I love it.
The devil's eyes. Kill her. Kill her.
Ooh. This is straight out of the video game, too. I love it. This is what it looks like. Interesting. Michael took a Jason kill. Whoa. He did the thing.
Where are you? We gotta go.
No matter who wins, we lose. Ooh, connects. They can both teleport. Ooh. Yes! Yep, saw that coming.
Kill him, Jason. Kill him. Make Mother proud.
Oh. Oh. Still good. Okay, okay.
KO! Okay.
Okay, before we hit their explanation for this, let's see what I can get out of this. So, now I like both franchises. I mean, I love Halloween and I love watching Friday the 13th. So I'm kind of torn between this. I saw Halloween first, I'm kind of a little biased towards that side. But, seeing both of these, I have a few questions. So, up until recently, Michael has never died. He's gone to a comatose state, never actually died. Jason has died twice. Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. If you want to go for those. Obviously, they didn't use the Jason X in this, which was a good thing because that'd be kind of stupid giving present time. I don't know where he get nanobots from. Although I see him going into a rage because of his mother speaking to him in his head. Okay. But both are pretty clean cut on how they kill. It's anything in their hand they will kill you with. Michael was decapitated in H2O until you found out Resurrection that it wasn't Michael. It was an ambulance driver. Spoilers for a movie that's, 20 years old by now. Or more, actually. Now, the one thing I have a problem with is, like, Jason is an efficient killer. He's brute strength at its best. So is Michael. They're both the same amount of strength, which is interestingly enough. So it's kind of hard to see who would actually win. Yet, the only difference between Michael and Jason is that Jason's a zombie. It's harder to kill him. Michael is still human. That's the only thing I can see that would give Jason the win on this over Michael, is that Jason is always dead. He's been killed multiple times and just brought back to life. Michael has sustained submit a lot of damage, put it that way. I lost the word for it. A giant amount of damage and always come back. He just gets back up. That's his signature thing. He just sits back up and goes on a killing spree again. So I want to see their reasoning for it and see if it's sound. So let's go on with that. Let's see what's going on.
Are we sure he's dead?
No.
Can't be too careful with these guys.
Michael Myers won't be rising from the grave this time. Jason was too much for him. The stories may paint these slashers as unstoppable, but they do have limits and can be understood.
To Michael's credit, he could match Jason in a lot of ways. Both were experts in methods of killing,
Yeah.
and both could totally teleport.
Theoretically, though if both of them really could teleport, then neither had an advantage in that regard. So teleportation deniers can rest easy knowing it wasn't really a factor here.
Even the explosions they both survived were similar in size and destructibility.
But Jason held the edge with his superior endurance and healing. Michael faking his death with a body double was clever, but he did it because he explicitly could not survive something like decapitation or getting half his torso blown off.
But Jason could. He also had more experience fighting other supernatural enemies like Leatherface, Freddy, and his uber
Hold on. Michael has several moves in Deathbattle Daylight that can hamper a victim's healing, but none can completely stop it, and likely wouldn't affect healing as extensive as Jason's. Okay, that has nothing to do with the actual fight. I don't know why they bring in Dead by Daylight. And Michael's healing is not a year-long process either. He was in a comatose one time, and that was after Halloween 2 going into Halloween 4. That's because of the burns he had. It's just, he lost his will to get back up. He was just comatose, they said. They didn't know why. They couldn't really explain it either. But he's had times where Halloween Kills, he was beaten down by half of the townspeople. Beaten down and stabbed and, one lady brought a clothing iron for some reason and beat him with it. 2x4s, bats, knives, names, you name it. They were crowbars even. They beat him down to the ground He pulled the knife out of his back after only a few moments and killed every one of them and walked away to the end of the film. Jason, has been blown to bits and then reconstructed. He was blown to bits once in the comic books, once in, what was it? I think that was Jason Goes to Hell, which was the end of the fucking movie. Okay, and then you also have Jason X, which they're not really counting, but yet they're somehow counting for some reason when he fought himself. So I don't know why they're saying that it takes Michael a year to recover from his injuries.
So I doubt Michael could have surprised him with something he's never seen before.
And Jason was just as strong and vicious as Michael, if not more. So given the difference in survivability...
Or difference is any lasting damage from Michael. He doesn't regenerate, that's the problem. They have shown many different times where he's still in shambles. Where he has exposed ribs, his skin is all over the place, his organs are visible. Michael is a lot more smart, definitely. Equal in strength and durability, perfect. More experienced against supernatural foes. Cult of Thorn. It was a whole cult that was keeping him alive and enslaving him, and he murdered them all. Supernatural foes, that was just Jason going to hell. Ranged weapons to keep Michael at a distance. He used throwing knives at one point. That was in, I think it was Friday 3. No, 2. No, 2. Well, no, that was... Sorry. First one I don't count because that was his mother. I mean, with him in it, so it'd be Friday 3 or 4 that he used throwing knives when he was using. Well, he was like a utility man. But Michael has. Let me see. Throwing weapons. I'm trying to think of anything he's used for a throwing weapon. No, he's mostly close range. But let me see. Likely to have less endurance than Jason? Not really. The thing is, Jason didn't use any throwing weapons in the fight. And I really don't remember him using many throwing weapons, actually. So I'm not quite sure where they're getting that from. And regeneration prevents any lasting damage from Michael. Yeah, they both have the same exact thing. They both have a really good healing factor.
He had a much better chance of striking Michael down first. In a battle between two unkillable monsters, it's only natural it would come down to who was more unkillable.
And the thing is, they killed Jason off by axing him in the head. They removed his mask and drove an axe right into his head, and that killed him. Hence why they had to bring him back with the lightning rod. So that's how he died. And yeah, Michael would have been stronger than that. Yeah, I'm not quite convinced that it was cut and dry. I don't think it was that clean. I mean, they went by Jason's comic books when he fought Uber Jason, but they only explain a little bit of Michael's background with the comic books. So, not quite sure where they're getting all the information from. If you're going strictly by the movies, Jason was just Jason. He never fought himself. But they're using comic book sources. Then they both have their own comic book series, actually. And it wasn't just Michael's background either. It explained a little further into it and a lot more deaths that he had, committed. So they have the same healing factor, though. Jason really doesn't regenerate body parts. He gets a new body and Jason goes to hell. It's a worm that would go from person to person and inhabit a new body. That was the whole point of Jason Goes to Hell. It was just a weird gimmick they were using. Uber Jason was brought back by nanobots, even though he was completely destroyed. The nanobots brought him back. Michael hasn't had any of those two things happen to him at all. I'm kind of torn on this one. I kind of agree, but at the same time, not really. They had to find some way, I guess, to make one person win. Somebody had to win. But as the death toll goes, Michael hasn't died. Jason has quite a few.
After being ripped to pieces, Michael can now rip in peace. Right, Jocelyn?
Oh, God.
Jocelyn? Hello?
The winner is Jason Voorhees.
And Jason Takes Manhattan. Who's up next? I gotta see
Thank you for watching.
who's the next fight. I gotta see this. Let's just skip ahead a little bit. Who's up next?
Box is right over there, and by downloading the battle music.
The Lich King versus Sauron. That I need to see. Oh dear God, I need to see that one next. Okay. So, that was your battle breakdown for the day. That's my opinions on it. I honestly think that Michael Myers would have won this one just for the sheer fact of his kill ratio to death ratio. He hasn't died. I mean, no spoilers for any new movies. If you haven't seen Halloween Ends yet, go see that. You'll see the end of that timeline. As for Resurrection, didn't die. As for 6, didn't die. So it all depends on what timeline you go through. I don't count the Rob Zombie because there was only 2 movies and it was a completely different story. It didn't branch off of the first movie. It was its own first movie onward. So, as for Jason, his timeline ended completely after Jason X and Freddy vs. Jason, which is not technically canon to it. It could have happened in between probably Jason Goes to Hell and Takes Manhattan, actually. So, with that, I am torn on that one, and I still believe that Michael probably would have had the edge over it in strength and regeneration. Once again, you can see all of the damage that Jason has gained over the years in the same body, and how many times you can kill him and leave him for dead before any idiot brings him back. Michael just comes back. He just appears out of nowhere every Halloween after so many years. So, with that said, friends, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, like I always say. Trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. I hope it can happen. We're over halfway there. I want to see the channel grow. If you're enjoying the battle breakdowns, if you want to see more, if you have suggestions for other videos besides just Death Battle, I'm willing to watch them, willing to see them, and I would love to know. Oi! Also, if you want to watch the original Death Battle with its full video, link will be down in the description below for the full video of this, so you can watch also their character breakdown before the fight happens. So with that said, friends, I have been your humble curator, and until next time, signing off.